Hey guys, so last lesson of this week, we have Simple Solutions 24, and we're going to be reading about England in the New World. Okay, so I'll go ahead and share my screen with you. Okay. All right, guys, the first English people to settle in the Americas were merchants. The English knew that there were vast riches in the New World. They had attacked many Spanish ships and found them full of treasures from the Americas. In the late 16th century, several Englishmen crossed the Atlantic. The Englishmen were searching for a location to establish the first English colony, and they selected a site in North Carolina. A small group of settlers returned 1 year later and established a colony which they named Roanoke. The English were not prepared for the hardships of the new land and the unfriendly native people, so they returned to England. 2 years later, another attempt was made to settle Roanoke. This time, the colonists mysteriously disappeared. Historians still do not know what happened to the settlement, and to this day, Roanoke is known as the Lost Colony. Around the same time, war broke out between Spain and England. The conflict was over religion and power. King Philip II of Spain sent a fleet of ships, or an armada, to attack England. Elizabeth I, the Queen of England, was prepared for the fight. Her smaller fleet of ships destroyed several ships in Philip's armada and drove the rest away. As they were making their escape, a storm destroyed more of the Spanish ships. This victory gave England dominance over the sea. Okay, so number one, what is the main idea of this passage? So read over those answers. Okay, and there is a word in the text that really sticks out to me, and it's hardships. Okay, so number one, our answer is C. Great Britain's early efforts to settle in the Americas had many setbacks or many difficulties. They had a lot of hardships. Okay, so number one is C. Number two, cause and effect. Okay, so because the British were not prepared for the hardships of the new land and the unfriendly natives, they returned to England. So the cause here is going to be there were a lot of hardships. Okay, and the effect is that the settlers went back to England. All right, 3 through 7, we have more vocabulary here. So the leader of England, if you go back to your text, it's bold. Queen Elizabeth was the Queen of England here. So I'm going to put an A beside Queen Elizabeth I. A Spanish fleet of ships, again, is bold in the text. Spanish fleet of ships is called an armada. Okay, so I'm going to put a B beside armada. The leader of Spain, that was King Philip II, which is also in your text. The North Carolina colony that disappeared, and guys, sidebar, this is one of my favorite topics to teach. Roanoke is so spooky. It's really fun to teach around Halloween. So D is Roanoke. Nobody knows what happens to those settlers. It's the greatest mystery. Okay. And a person who trades goods and services, that is a merchant. All right, friends, last questions here. Read the set of words in the chart. Think of a title that tells about each list and write the title in the blank space at the top of the column. Be as specific as possible. Okay, so in the first column here, this is going to be a flashback to that very, very, very first Simple Solutions unit or lesson that we did. So the words are history, culture, geography, government, and economics. So a topic that I would give to all of these words, these are all elements of social studies. So as we're studying social studies this year, we're going to touch on all of these elements here. So in the first blank, let's write social studies. All right, next we have north, south, east, and west. And your first instinct might be to say, those are directions. The question says to be as specific as possible. We've learned about two types of directions. We've learned about cardinal directions and intermediate directions. I know that my middle list here, these are cardinal directions. All right, guys, and last column, mountain, peninsula, valley, basin, and plains. Those are all landforms. All right, guys, good work today. I will talk to you soon.